Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the next day of Faction Wars Hard inside Raid Shadow Legends. So today we have the Barbarians as well as the Demonspawn that are opening up crypts 4 to 6 for us here technically. So we're going to be going ahead and pushing through this and seeing what we can make happen. We are going to start with the Barbarians. We have a requirement to place 5+ HP burns. So what I think we're actually going to do in this situation here is we're just going to use Kalia. We're going to throw on some trash gear essentially to her to make sure that we're able to place this. So attacks 3 times at random each hit, placing an HP burn for 2 turns. And then she also has an A1, which has a 30% chance of placing an HP burn as well. For other options here, so if we look at debuffs, other burners that you could run with, obviously Farrakhan the Fat has it on his A2. You can place a burn here. And then Jotun has it on his A2 as well. So it's an attack 1 enemy, chance of placing an HP burn for 4 turns, which is pretty solid, right? So that being said, though, Kalia is one of the only ones that can actually place it at like an AoE level. And I just so happen to have her 6-starred as well, which is also pretty fantastic. So we're not really stressing too much. Let's go ahead and see if we have an accuracy with a substat speed banner, which it doesn't look like we do, so that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and do something like this, then we'll go here. We'll do substats, don't really care about that. Let's get a feral ring on her just for some extra accuracy. And then it would be perfect if we're able to throw a banner on her that has accuracy and whatnot as well. Let's go ahead and go to the main pieces here. We're going to be looking for main stat of speed, substat of accuracy and HP, really. Perfect, there we go. Now we're going to set our priority stats to be speed, and then accuracy, maybe a little bit HP as well, and then we'll go for all the other pieces, right? So it's not liking... There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead. We have this chest piece we can put on her. We now have a chest piece. We have this helmet we can throw on her. Really just trying to get through this and put on, like, whatever gear I may have on my account that's not being used anywhere else, right? So there we go. We have a 350 accuracy, 50,000 HP, and then a 234 speed build. So nothing too crazy, but should be just enough to start landing some of those burns and whatnot. We'll get through this crypt pretty easily. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but I did kind of look ahead to what we'll be dealing with today, and it looks like today might be one of the first days that we actually have to skip 3-starring a stage, and this is going to be on the Demonspawn, just because it doesn't look like we'll be able to meet the requirements needed. So we have 2 out of 5 HP burns placed already. It is nice that it's only 5 HP burns, right, instead of like 10 or something like that, like we see with some of the other stuff, so definitely happy to see that. We obviously have the shields and whatnot coming in from the Freya, so I don't really foresee us ever getting, you know, any sort of badness happening here. We could also bring in Thor, actually, just for more damage, which I think we will do so that we can clear the waves a little bit quicker. And then maybe we'll do this on auto. I don't know. Let's bring in Thor, though. Does he still have gear on him, though? I don't even remember. I might have taken it off. I did take it off. I put it back on our Mons, so that's a bit unfortunate. We could bring in Turvold. Turvold smacks. I think we'll go ahead and do that. We have plenty of CC coming in here, obviously, anyways, with the Armands. We don't really need to worry too much about... you know, the freeze or anything like that from Yakarl. And Yakarl just wasn't really doing much damage, so Turvold should be able to smack a little bit harder. We'll go ahead and target the Ugo here. And boom, boom, Turvold does smack down a little bit there. The only downside is he's not an AoE champion, obviously. It'd be nice if he was, but alas, here we are. We just keep stunning, keep stealing their turn meter. Not really going to be much that they can do. Unfortunate for them, I know. We have the Provokes coming in from the Freya too, which is going to be pretty awesome. Heal reduction if ever needed from the Kalia there too, which is very strong. I imagine later on we might need some heal reductions to beat the bosses or whatnot. You guys have been absolutely fantastic with the support so far that I've seen on this content as well, so thank you very much for that. As I've been mentioning all the time recently, Discord is linked down in the description if that's something you want to get involved with, and then additionally, channel memberships are live, so if you want to support the channel a little bit more than the average viewer, there you go. There's a way to do it. At some point here in the near future, I'm probably going to start doing membership-specific videos, so that's definitely something that you could get in on, of course, if you're interested in it. Let's go ahead, target the Ugo here. Just make sure she's not going to do any crazy things to us. The heal reduction is actually quite nice, because it's going to ensure that like any sort of passive heals or anything like that don't proc, which is pretty awesome. We do need to land one more burn as well, but Kalia should be able to do that here momentarily, I think. Making very good progress towards the legendary so far, though, which is good, obviously. Turn meter steal coming in here. The Slixus actually resists a turn meter steal. That's pretty crazy. That's like a 3% luck there, I think. Still waiting on Kalia to give us that good old HP burn whenever she wants to. You know, no rush, no stress. It's all good. There it is. There's the burn. 4-time hit at random. Every single hit went into the ramen too. That's kind of funny. And now we can essentially just focus on blasting them down as quick as possible. As you can see, Turvold definitely does decent damage as well. Turvold used to be like one of the hardest hitting champions in the game for quite some time for like clan boss and whatnot, because I think it's his A1 that scales based off of how many buffs you have on him, which obviously if you're doing like an unkillable clan boss, you're going to have a crap ton of buffs there, so he was really good at just putting out big smacks. And he also has self buffs on his A2 as well. Sorry for hitting the microphone there, but yeah, he self buffs, which is pretty fantastic. 135k times 2 there to the sheep, which is just insane. Loriaka does get her cooldown increased as well, which is perfect. Just want to make sure we control the Ugo though, so that she's not able to, you know, place the decreased defense or anything crazy like that. And now we can essentially just wait for everybody else to do their thing. The Slixus is taken out, which is perfect. We get some HP burns coming in, just double checking. But it looks like we have the burns placed, no problem. So we are continuing on through this wave without an issue. And... and just gotta wait. Here we go. Turn meter steal. I think there's actually a stage where we have to do like a turn meter manipulation or something like that with Barbarians, which will be pretty strong. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know if there's any, you know, factions that you guys have struggled with in particular so far with this. I'd be very interested to hear about this. Particular struggle points for my account have been definitely the Ogren tribes, as you may have seen, and then also the Orcs. With the Orcs, I just don't really have like a cohesive team that I can use there, which is a bit of a shame. We're now on to the next stage here. So manipulate skill cooldowns 10 plus times. This one's definitely a little bit harder. You do have somebody like a Loki, who I think has the ability to do it. I looked and seen, and it said he was one of the options, but let's go ahead and take a look here. So other effects, positive effects. We have decreased skill cooldown. We have Turvold, who can do it, apparently. We have Jamarsa, and we have Alton of the Shell. And then for increased skill cooldowns, yeah, it tags Loki, but I wasn't seeing where he did it. 100% of their turn meter, fills the turn meter, blah, blah, blah. My effects, if this, Interesting. Okay. Don't know where he does it. Don't know where he's manipulating the skill effects, but whatever. That being said, we do also have, obviously, Alika is probably going to be the most notable example of this. We do have, obviously, the Armands who can do it as well, but I think we're probably best off bringing in Alika for this. So let's just go ahead, make sure she has some semblance of gear on her as well. So we are going to go ahead and do primary stats, speed, hide, set filters, substats of accuracy. Let's just get something that's at like, you know, 16 star or 16 level already. Take that off. We're going to hide the primary stats as well as the substats. We're going to do priority stats, same kind of thing here. We're looking for speed, we're looking for accuracy, and we're looking for HP to help her survive. So there we go. Comes down to really just throwing on as much of the gear that you might have on your account as physically possible. Like I mentioned, you know, we're not looking to min-max these builds or anything like that, but a pretty solid build there, 305. We don't even have a banner on her, so we could definitely do that as well. Let's go ahead and look at what we have for speed banners here. Let's do something like this. Perfect. Let's go ahead and throw a feral ring on her if we have one as well, which it looks like we don't, so that it is what it is, but she should still have enough accuracy to pull this off without an issue. Now, I think we might still bring in Armands just for safety. But apart from that, we should be perfectly fine, I think. So let's go ahead and do this. Excuse me. Goodness. Alright. Let's go ahead and do the excuse me, the AoE with Armands. Let's go ahead and do this here. God damn. Alright, so that's already one manipulation completed. Then let's go ahead and boost. Now, we do have the A3 is essentially what we want here. Increasing everybody's cooldowns. We're already at 6 out of 10 completed. I think we'll be able to do this perfectly fine on auto. But let's go ahead and go through this and, you know, maybe stop it on wave 2 if we need to, essentially. Now, she can actually do, like, decent damage as well, Alika. So, especially with her A2, her high-value target there, if you build her for damage, she can be a very competent damage outputter, essentially a DPS unit, right? So just something to consider there too if you're struggling to get through these stages. Putting a bit of damage on her would be very good because obviously having damage built into a CC champion is very strong. That's why somebody like Ykarl the Scourge is so damn good, is because they're bringing obviously the CC, but then they're also bringing the damage as well. So very, very strong. And Ykarl is a perfect example of it, and he's a very strong carry for this faction in a lot of cases because he has an irresistible freeze if their turn meter is above a certain amount, which is pretty cool. Turvold should be coming in here right away with the smack. Let's just go ahead and buff up here as well. Get the extra turn. Boom, boom, 40k. And that's actually our 10 plus manipulations done as well. Because Turvold resets his skills if he kills somebody with the A3, which is pretty strong. We'll just go ahead and try to save our skills for the next wave, essentially. The Eric's is really annoying because of how she heals, like whenever you do some sort of a crit hit or whatnot on her. So you can see like she offset that damage by 14k, which is just insane. And then obviously sometimes if you have the champions crit on her and they're not damage dealers, she'll actually end up healing for more than the damage was that was dealt to her, which is just wild in my opinion, but it is what it is, I guess. Let's go ahead and buff up and then slam into her again. Actually, the A1 might be better. Nah, we're going to go with the A3. Boom, boom. There it is. Just did like 80k, 85k to her there, which is pretty swanky. We're about 12 minutes into the recording so far, and we're almost done with the second stage. So we're almost halfway there on the Barbarians, which is pretty cool. Alika did not want to open with her cooldown manipulation, apparently, but it is what it is. Now that's kind of annoying where they have the block debuffs, but our Armands, of course, can just come in and do the strip as well, which is very strong. Now she doesn't seem to be doing the cooldown manipulation unless she already did it and I missed it, which is pretty crazy, but it doesn't look like she's doing it, which is also pretty crazy. You can go ahead and get that turn meter steal and the stuns and whatnot, though. Armands is such a ridiculously broken champion. It's absolutely wild. Now she did high value target again. We go ahead and smack with the Turvold, which is nice. I'm going to take her off auto the next time around, though, and make sure she has it available. So we'll go ahead and steal. Unless she's just not doing it because they're under stuns or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. So let's see. Yeah, she has it available. Disorient. Let's see what she does. She does it now. Okay, interesting. Maybe I just missed it then. I'm not sure. I think I have a decently high awakening for her too, right? Yeah, I have a 5-star awakening for her, so she is a very decent champion. If I was trying to build her as a DPS unit, she actually could do pretty damn decent DPS, right? With that 5-star. If you put like a good blessing on her, like you could use Dark Resolve on her, depending on where you're using her, as well as obviously like Cruelty or maybe even Crushing Rend at a 5-star, though Crushing Rend is generally best at a 6-star. I got a yawn real quick. My goodness, it has been a long, eventful day, to say the least. But let's see here. We're just getting through with the Turvold. We did already trigger the Seeker's passive as well, where he places the increased defense, so that's good. Means that we're just going to be able to go ahead and kind of smack through them without too much resistance here, which is nice. And then we get the increased cooldown there, which is solid as well. We have no revives, obviously, so if the Candrafon just comes in and crits us or something like that, we might be in trouble, which is pretty much exactly what happened. Because, unfortunately, the Armands just kind of almost got clapped there, but it is what it is, I suppose. We just happened to have no shield up at that point. Hey, that was rough. That was rough. Oh, excuse me again. My goodness. Alright. We're down to, I think it's the Blind Seer is her name, and then Candrafon here as well. Should be easy money, but we'll see, we'll see. Go ahead and just keep smacking them up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Decent damage coming in from Turvold, obviously. I wish I still had the gear on the Thor. That would make this all significantly easier. I can't remember as well, but in all these rotations, I don't think we've actually gotten around to the Skinwalkers yet, which is a bit interesting. But we have another 3-star clear there. Now we have to manipulate turn meters 40 plus times. I mean, that's just straight up going to be easy mode here with our Mons in, right? So let's take a look actually at my Huskarl. I think he's built for damage, so we might bring him in. Yeah, he has decent defense. I just need to get a crit damage amulet on him, and we will be off to the races. So let's go ahead and do that here. We already have one up to level 12. Perfect. Let's go ahead and throw him in here. He can actually do some very decent things if you're not familiar with him. So he's got a stun cleanse, increased defense, increased resistance, AoE stun, and then a stun on the A1 as well. So if you need to play stuns, he is your man. If you need to do CC, he is your man, right? And then he can also cleanse the stun from your team, which is pretty solid too. So that being said, though, we're going against like some Elvas and Noellas and annoying champions like that. So want to make sure that we have a lot of CC. Excuse me. We should be able to smack somebody down here. Yeah, there we go. Take out the epic champion. And we should already be at like a decent amount of turn meter manipulations. Yeah, 22 already. We're over halfway there on wave 1. Pretty crazy stuff, certainly. We get more turn meter manipulation coming in from the Armands, obviously. We get Armand stealing all their turn meter again. I think we're probably there now. We're at 32. This is crazy. This is a pretty easy one. Obviously, if you have Armands, this is going to be a walk in the park. If you missed the fusion for him, the manipulating turn meter is still relatively easily done. You really just need to bring, like, you know, turn meter boosters. High Katoon is an absolute beast for manipulating turn meter because her A2 is going to bring a turn meter fill for your team, and then her A3 is going to bring a potential turn meter reduction for the enemy team. So she's kind of strong on both fronts there. Obviously, Freya offers the fill for your team as well. Fun reminder that Evil Eye can actually reduce the turn meter there too. So if you have any sort of a champion that you can run Evil Eye on it, they'll be able to decrease the enemy's turn meter, which is pretty slick. And then you stack that up, obviously, especially if you have champions that are doing, like, AoEs or something like that, right? So, decent option. And we should be well across the manipulate turn meter, yeah, 40 times. So we're way past that. It's going to be the next 3-star clear here, though, it looks like. So the Barbarians are shaping up to be a relatively easier faction so far, which is nice. But I do kind of foresee that we'll have a little bit tougher challenges coming at us towards the end. I think especially with inside like the Barbarian and then the Undead Hordes crypts, they're probably going to give us some tougher challenges considering that they know that most players are going to have Armands as well as Fabian, right? So I'm thinking that we'll probably see those two be all but required champions considering that they were like the anniversary champions of their respective years. It seemed pretty important to Plarium that we would get those particular champions, right? So again, I wouldn't be surprised if they were all but necessary, so to say, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think a lot of people have them. You can always wail out if you don't on the 20 times events that'll happen, obviously, and you can get like 6 legendaries on those events and not get them, right? So that seems like a pretty good deal to me. I don't know about anyone else, but tell you what, it is nice to come in here against these Elva waves and just be able to say, screw you, Elva, we are getting this done anyways. That's awesome. I love to see that. I love to see it. Let's go ahead and just whack down the Ruella. Everybody's under CC here. Even the Tormund can't do nothing against us. We have block debuffs. We have more stuns going out. We have more turn meter steal. We are cooking, ladies and gentlemen. We just need to make sure that nothing crazy happens where the Elva gets off like a revive or something like that. But as you can see, Huskarl, I think he actually used to be a fusion back in the day as well. But he is incredibly strong as a champion. He brings so much to the table. Really, really good champion. If you have him, I'd recommend potentially building him out for Faction Wars if you're struggling with CC or struggling with Resistance, because obviously he has the smaller plus 25% resistance, which can be very strong. Like, that could be the difference, right? If you have 100 resistance, it's now 125. You have 200, it's now like, what, 250? It's a pretty big bump, especially as you start to scale up your resistances, right? So just something to consider, certainly. More resistance is never a bad thing, especially when it's being brought to you by a champion that has so much, like, extra stuff in their kit, like so much damage, cleansing, stuns, all that sort of stuff, right? So, you know, he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid. We're almost through here. This is going to be the Barbarians done. Once this happens here. It's taken a while, though, but it is what it is, I suppose. And there we go. Turvold gets the last smack. So, there's another 3-star clear. Let's go ahead and take a look. We do have a big summon there. We have 200 energy coming up as well. Now, we're on the stage 4 here, which is going to be tough. So, this is to defeat 5+ enemies using bomb debuffs. And I think this is a stage that we'll just have to skip. The reason for that being I looked at bombs and I literally just have one option, which is my Soul Drinker. Like, none of these other options are usable here, obviously, right? He has an AoE bomb that can be placed, right? But I don't have him built out. I don't have him booked. So there's going to be a lot of RNG involved with beating that, if we beat that at all. And I'm not really wanting to sit here and run this like 35 million times to see if we can actually do it. And unfortunately, there's no like sets or anything like that that can place a bomb either. So we're kind of just SOL if he doesn't place it. But that being said, we'll give it a try. We'll give it a try. We'll see what we can make happen here. We'll go ahead and remove her, I think. And then we'll bring in the Soul Drinker. Let's go ahead and make sure that he has gear as well. He does have a 5-star Awakening, which is good. It'll help him out with like accuracy and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and give him a Blessing. Let's give him maybe Nature's Wrath. And then for the gear, we are literally just going here, going to hide set filters. Oops. We're going priority stats. We want speed and we want attack. So there we go. The most attack that we can potentially get on this guy, right? And then on top of that, we're going to want a little bit of accuracy, but let's go ahead and do this. Let's do accuracy, a little bit of priority on speed, hide set filters. Let's go ahead and do everything except boots. There it is. There it is. Attack. Gauntlets with triple roll of speed on the substat is incredible. There we go. We really just need boots now, which we could put attack boots on him with a triple speed roll. That sounds perfect. Magnifique. So, you know, if we brought him in, just cycle his turns, because realistically we can keep turn cycling him with Lammasu, which will help a lot, I think. So we could maybe do this. We'll want to bring in additional CC, though, so we do have Skimfos, we do have Dur. We could bring in a couple of options here. So we could bring in Umbro, but we could also bring in Allure, I think is going to be a very solid option. Just getting those decrease, like speeds, or decrease turn meters on them, rather. So there we go. Get the AoE. We're going to go ahead and try to put them to sleep here, which we do get, actually, which is perfect. We're going to go ahead and steal here. We don't have any sort of like cooldown increasing or anything like that, though, which is a bit of a shame. And we are also weak affinity here, but we're going to go ahead and reset our Soul Drinker. Go ahead and get some turn meter pushback. And we get a cleanse off, of course, because the True Fear didn't proc. That is fantastic. Let's go ahead and try this again. We might want somebody actually that can bring a bit more of a hard CC than a Allure. So is my Umbro built still? She is. I think we'll go ahead and bring in Umbro. Having a 2-turn provoke is going to make this significantly easier. And then obviously we can always boost and reset with Lammasu if needed as well. So let's go ahead and do this. It'd be so nice if we had like a cooldown manipulator though as well, obviously, right? But again, though, having that 2-turn provoke coming in from a Void champion makes it very consistent. So we'll go ahead, get the reset with Lammasu, AoE decrease attack, make sure that they're not doing crazy damage to my, I can't even remember her name for some reason. There it is. We get some more bombs placed. We need to wait for them to pop, though, which is kind of the one downside. We don't have any bombs placed here, but we have a bunch of bombs placed everywhere else. You know what, damn it, we might actually be able to get through this with Soul Drinker, even though he's only 5-star. It'd be pretty cool if we're able to. I'm just going to keep CCing her until I can hopefully get more bombs placed. Because we have a bunch of bombs stacked up here. We're going to go ahead and decrease detonation time, so that's perfect. The Shaman is going to pop off 2 of them the next time she takes a turn. And she is still provoked as well, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and reset the Soul Drinker and boost him. As you can see, though, the bombs are not doing a ton of damage, but we do get one of them already. Am I missing something? We just watched the Shaman very clearly get detonated by a bomb. And it says we're at 0. I am confused here. I am confused. We got a cleanse off, which is kind of annoying. We still have a bomb placed here, though. Go ahead and steal a turn meter here and wipe him out, apparently. We still have nobody, it says, that was defeated by bombs. I am confused about that. Is that a glitch? Did something else kill them? Because there was no poisons out. They just got detonated by the bomb. I am very confused. Very confused indeed. We get a revive, which is technically good. There we go. We had one defeated by the bomb, which is perfect. So we're going to reset, get the Soul Drinker back in here. I think our Umbral is going to be able to go ahead and provoke again as well, which will be strong. But we get the cleanse from the Shaman, because of course we do. I'm going to go ahead and try to run this one more time. Especially considering there was that potential glitch there. That's a bit crazy. That's a bit crazy, certainly. Don't really have anyone else that I want to bring in for CC. Though I suppose we could bring in like an Infernal Baroness in a stun set, but we do also have Carnage, obviously, that I can get built out. He could be very strong with his debuff spread effect as well, obviously. Spreading those bombs onto everybody else, but I mean, I think he'll also have the issue where he just does way too much damage, right? So let's go ahead and get the AoE decrease attack. Let's go ahead and get this up. Let's go ahead and get this up. I don't know, that was such a weird interaction. Was it because they were under a poison or something like that? Or not a poison, sorry, a provoke or something like that it didn't count? Like, not entirely sure what happened there. Let's go ahead and steal here, just since she doesn't have any bombs yet. We don't necessarily want her taking turns anyways. Go ahead and steal more turn meter. Go ahead and hit here. We didn't get him reset yet, so let's go ahead and do this. We get a decrease on the bomb timers there, which is perfect. I thought his skills were reset with Lammasu, but I don't know. This is a wonky wave, certainly. Very interesting, very interesting. And then there was a heal that happened here as well when the bomb detonated, which is strange. I think that might be some sort of like a Kaja passive or something like that, maybe. We still have everybody provoked. We still have some stuns out there as well. We can reset him right away with the Lammasu. Go ahead and steal some turn meter here. And then let's go ahead and reset. There it is. Get some more bombs placed out there. We got them kind of more across the board now, which is perfect. Especially on the Shaman, because she's obviously annoying. I don't want Kaja to get a turn, though, so we're going to do everything we can to try and prevent that. We have a bunch of bombs on the Neldor there as well, which is perfect. Now, if Soul Drinker gets clapped here, that's not actually the end of the world, because he has a passive that when he dies, he places a bomb on everybody, right? So, places 2 bombs that detonate after 1 turn or something like that. So, can be very strong, actually, when he dies, which is nice. Because then we can always revive him with the the Hungerer as well, right? So, something to consider there. I need to make sure that the Neldor actually dies to the bombs, though, so we can't be hitting into him too much. There we go, that AoE double bomb, which is perfect. We'll go ahead and get this out as well. And then we'll go ahead and revive him. We do have Lamasu's reset available right away as well. So we'll go ahead and whack in here. Just trying to make sure that we don't get whacked before we cycle back around to Soul Drinker, but there we go. Get more of them placed out. There we go. Neldor is down, so that's one. Get some heals and reflect damage up here as well. I want to steal Turn Meter here if I can, because she has her cleanse available. And obviously that going off would be like worst case scenario, which it goes off. Oh. What a freak show, man. She does revive those, so we can potentially place a bomb there as well if needed. Essentially just have to wait for their turns to cycle through, though, I think. We get the kill there again on the Soul Drinker by the Kaja, which is a bit unfortunate. And then we get like a double turn proc there, or not the proc, but Yannica double turns us. Steal Turn Meter here, hopefully. Don't necessarily want to steal Turn Meter from somebody that has, like, you know, block debuffs on them, but I mean, at this point, I just need to make sure that we get back around to the revive as well with Durst. We're going to bring him back. Soul Drinker can be reset once again, so here we go. We'll get some bombs out here, hopefully. He's weak affinity to this stage as well. I think he is going to be for most of the stage. We actually don't even get his passive bombs out there either, which is just nuts. So now we have to keep cycling while we wait for everybody else to come back around. Let's go ahead and get the provokes coming in here. Let's go ahead and steal Turn Meter here. AoE. At this point, I think we'll maybe just focus on the Kaja. These other champions are going to be healing anyways, so if we could essentially just focus on getting the Kaja down, make sure that she can't revive, I think we can probably get through this. And then them healing is actually a decent thing, because it's going to mean that we can potentially place the bombs on them again, essentially. We have the revive coming back next turn from Dur. Let's go ahead and keep hitting in here. Lammasu is getting some decent amounts of CC out there as well. We'll bring back the Soul Drinker. We'll reset the Soul Drinker. We will AoE with the bombs. We got like 2 bombs placed, which are on 3-turn detonations. That's absolutely wild. At least these particular champions cannot heal or revive, though, apart from the Kaja, obviously, which, I mean, it is what it is. We should also have the passive from Soul Drinker now, so if he... there we go, we have a bomb decrease there. So as long as this champion dies to the bomb, we are perfect on that. And then we can really just focus on bringing in some more damage. Now, Shaman already used her cleanse, but I am going to steal her Turn Meter anyways, because fuck you, Shaman. Oh, that's sketchy. There we go. So that should be number 2. Go ahead and whack in here. We're going to go ahead and whack in here because the Yannica is under a bomb debuff, although I doubt she's going to die to it. We'll go ahead and try to reset the Soul Drinker. Get a stun there, which is perfect. Kaja just used her revive. There we go. Another death to it. We're going to go ahead and hit the AoE. Again, there are a couple bombs out. Hit the AoE there. Hit the AoE here. I'm not too worried about if the Kaja dies from a bomb or not, but that should have been another bomb kill there, but it wasn't for some reason, so it's okay. Whatever. Kaja's underneath one, but she is going to get clapped by Lammasu. So now we're on to the next team here, which is also annoying. We have Opardon. We have a bunch of people that can Turn Meter, steal, and cleanse, and all that sort of stuff. We're going to steal his Turn Meter. Try to get a stun here on Lissandra would be nice, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. We'll go ahead. We'll provoke, which does land across the board, so that's perfect. His A1 doesn't really do a whole lot, so we're just going to go ahead and whack in there. We can reset and boost him, though, which is perfect. We're going to steal here on the Lammasu. We should have Soul Drinker ready to go. There it is. And he's a lot better affinity on this wave as well, because we have a lot more Void champions, so that's perfect. He actually got like a very good amount of bombs placed that round, which is awesome. Now, that being said, Lissandra is annoying because she transfers debuffs whenever she A1s. So, you know, go ahead and do that. We'll have the decreased cooldowns here. We do detonate them instantly on the Opardon, but it's not enough to kill him, unfortunately. Steal Turn Meter here. We still have the Lissandra underneath some CC, so I'm fine if she gets a turn. 3 enemies so far. Our Umbral was able to kind of cleanse herself off there or whatnot as well, so we'll go ahead and do this. There we go. So he's going to die next turn to the bombs, hopefully. I want him to take his turn. There it is. That should be number 4. Numero 4. This was actually the stage that I thought we might have to miss, so the fact that we're actually able to sort of do this is fantastic. We're going to get some more hard CC out there as well. We're going to try and go for a stun on the Lysandra here. We don't land it. This is rough. We're going to steal turn meter. A little bit more pushback here as well. A little bit more pushback here. I am just worried about the Ethlin. Oh my god, we get the cleanse coming in. Or block debuffs. It's not actually a cleanse. So as long as we can get some damage out here, we're still cooking. We're still cooking. Don't have a way to remove any of those debuffs, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's kind of annoying because, as you can see, the champion there, I forgot her name, the Ursala, essentially just got a heal for the same amount as all the bombs that went off. There we go. That's the 5 champions done. So let's go ahead and do this, which will decrease the bomb debuffs on her. And hopefully that's enough to essentially just go ahead and clap her the next time she takes a turn. I just reset the wrong champion, but that's whatever. Now, Ursala does have it, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this because she has her exhaust ability available. We're going to go ahead and hit the Opardon. He's healing, which is annoying. I think we procced a True Fear on him too, which is perfect, so he shouldn't have his cooldowns available, but famous last words, I suppose. We have the bomb there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to kill her, unfortunately. The block debuffs is now gone from these champions, though, so that's perfect. Can just cycle through this essentially and get it done. We don't need to worry too much now about how we do this. We just need to make sure that we're able to kill them, no problem. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to do this if you don't have Soul Drinker. Like, even my account just doesn't have any other options, right? Like, it's crazy. Steal Turn Meter here. Opardon's very annoying with the heals he places. So we're going to go ahead and just AoE. We're going to go ahead and do this. I want to try and take him out because he's obviously very annoying. We'll go ahead and do this. Decrease the duration of those bombs, the timers. Go ahead and do an A1 here because they have block debuffs. We do sit down the Opardon, which is perfect. Trying to get him down maybe before he gets a turn just so he doesn't heal, but we weren't able to, unfortunately. We'll save our Provoke for the next wave. A 10-minute fight, by the way, which is absolutely crazy, but it is what it is. Now, what I like is that Soul Drinker's A1 just straight up manipulates the bomb durations. It's like not a chance or anything like that. It just straight up does it, which is pretty awesome. So there we go. We do take out the Ethlin, I think his name is. He's actually a very solid epic nuker if you're in need of that. He can essentially bring some decent damage and, you know, CC in the way of like block active skills, which is one of the best CCs in the game currently because obviously it just, you know, blocks everything they might be doing. So it's almost as good as like a stun, and it's on par with like a Provoke in that way. The only difference being it also stops mythicals from metamorphing, which is very strong. So this is a very iffy wave here, just because of the amount of cleansing and block damage and bullshit that gets thrown out. We do have the block buffs, though, which means that Killian is not going to be able to place the block damage on himself. We do get some bombs out there, but we're going to go ahead and reset and try to get more. Everybody's provoked as well, except the Farrakhan, apparently. Bit of a shame there. That being said, though, Soul Drinker is ready to go here again. We'll get some more bombs out there. Get some wax in here. I don't want her taking turns and cleansing people. Let's go ahead and get the True Fears, decrease turn meters and all those sorts of good things out there. Block buffs as well, obviously. And let's go ahead and do this. Decrease the cooldowns of some of the bombs. We'll make sure Killian doesn't get a turn. I don't want him outcycling the debuffs. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and A2 with the Skimfos. Skimfos is a very solid champion, by the way. We should be cooking here because everybody's like so low already, and then we have more and more bombs coming out. There we go. Everybody's just taking all the damage from the bombs. It's perfect. It's actually a very solid way to try and get through content, right? The only like thing is obviously it kind of sucks because like you know, if you don't really have a bomb champion in a faction, it's like, how are you supposed to do it? But then again, there we go. Blow them up with the decreased detonations. Now, that being said, if you didn't know, a decreased detonation will actually just instantly explode the bombs if there's only one turn left on the bomb. So having Soul Drinker's A1 just means he's like a perfect instant detonator, which is awesome. Now, we have to place 10 plus stuns on this stage, which is pretty crazy. So for stun options, obviously you have any sort of an AoE champion. So in this case, at least, we do have Magnar, who has the chance of placing a stun on his A2. But that's only if they're under HP burns. So essentially, what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be bringing in Infernal Baroness. As always, you guys know the strategy. We're going to be throwing her into a stun set, obviously. So, you know, just hoping for those to proc, essentially. Very good CC set, though, right? Like, if you need any sort of crowd control on any stage, essentially just throwing them in a stun set is a very good way to get that done. I need one more gear piece, which should be coming off of an R attack, I think, somewhere right there. And then let's go ahead and look and see what we have for gear pieces. Let's expand everything, hide set filters, priority stats, speed, HP, not equipped. Give me that. Perfect. 700k, why not? We now got her in a stun set. I wouldn't mind bringing in a little bit of additional damage too, but I don't even really know who I have built as damage. Now, if you only have Magnar, you could use him combined with somebody like Akoth, or obviously Drexlar would be very good for this. Yeah, so I think we should still be able to do this, though. Let's go ahead and give it a go. I'm just wondering if we want to bring in more damage instead of the Umbral. I think we'll give that a try, because Umbral's not necessarily going to be needed if the whole stun placement thing goes as intended. We'll get the AoE here. Get the AoE here. We do get 2 stuns landed already. That's pretty solid. We'll actually try to stun the Ramont too as well, which we do land, which is perfect. We're going to let Magnar go ahead and do his damage ability, and then we'll reset him with Lamassu, I think. We'll go ahead and steal from Ugo here. Reset him. We're going to go ahead and A1 here with the Infernal. We get another stun placed. So we're already at 5 stuns placed, which is pretty awesome. The RNG is definitely favoring us here. Go ahead and get this up. We'll go ahead and get the AoE smack here. Take everybody out except the Ugo. Now, if we could get a stun proc on her again even, that would be pretty perfect. From Dur the Hungerer? No, not quite. Now, Dur doesn't have the most accuracy either, so he's not necessarily a reliable stunner, but almost. There we go. We took her out. We took her out. Alright, on to wave 2. Here we go. AoE Fears, you already know the deal. Let's go ahead and turn meter steal from the Ramen 2. Let's go ahead and AoE decrease attack. Let's go ahead and try to get that stun. Nothing, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and reset the Magnar and have him boost and just do a nuke. Everybody's pretty low now, which is good. We do have some debuffs coming our way, though, which is a bit of a shame. I don't want the Ramen 2 to get a turn, so we'll go ahead and whack him. We're at 5 out of 10 placed as well, so there we go. We got one more placed. Try to get one on the Ugo. Not going to happen, unfortunately. You already know the deal. Increase the fears, you know, place the fears, whatever you want to call it. We got the decreased defense coming out, annoyingly. Lamassu would actually be a fantastic option, obviously, inside a stun set as well, because she has an AoE A1. Generally, for stun sets, you're just looking for anybody who can do those AoE A1s, right? So, something to consider there. Hell, even Skimpos on his A2 would be a solid champion to run in the stun set. Let's get that AoE. Got another stun place. That puts us at 7. We are at a pretty decent spot here. If we get a stun there, that'd be perfect. We don't get it, unfortunately. Not too worried about these debuffs coming our way, because, I mean, they're not really going to be able to do anything anyways, so it is what it is. Try for another stun, same thing. We'll go ahead and nuke down this wave, why not? Move on to wave 3. Let's go ahead and get the control out there. Go ahead and steal from the Ramen 2. Get the AoE. Get another stun place, that puts us at 8. That's perfect. We'll try to get one on the Loriaka, which we do put. That's 9. Let's go ahead and just A1. Get some decreased turn meter there. Try to smack the Slixus. Almost take him out. Now, everybody here is pretty tanky, which is good, so we don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, anybody getting one shot or anything like that. We only need one more stun. Here we go. And we do get 2 more stuns. That's perfect. That's perfect. So we're well past our stun requirements there. Obviously, if you had like a Countess Lix that you could run with a Magnar, that'd be a very solid way to get this done as well. So just something to consider there. We do have the Ugo taking a turn, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and do this. Get a stun on her, so that's perfect. Magnar can come in and do his nuke right away. And there's not going to be much that they can do about it. And it's literally just Loriaka left, or Loraka. So let's go ahead and take her out. Very decent champion, actually, especially after her rework. She was a fusion back in the day, and people weren't too happy about her, but she actually turned out to be a pretty decent horse. Or not horse, cow, I meant to say. Alright, so now we need to manipulate turn meters. That should be perfectly easily done with Lamasu alone, with how she can reset. Also has a decreased speed, and then she has the evil eye. Who else could we do? Obviously, Allure is a very solid option, so we could bring in Allure. Skimfos does it as well. For fill turn meter options, not really a whole lot, to be honest. Countess Lix is kind of a solid option here, too, with her A3. Just decreasing the enemy's turn meter, which is awesome. But I think we'll be able to get through this with the team as it is. Might be famous last words, we'll see. But we have 10 turn meter manipulations already, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and hit Oella. I just don't want her getting a turn. Go ahead and try for some stuns. Make sure they get CC'd. Whack with the Magnar. Not too big of a whack there, actually, just because... do we really want to reset anyone? Probably not. Let's just go in with the Evil Eye, get the turn meter manipulated. We're already at 21. We just need to try to make sure that they aren't able to take turns and cleanse or anything like that. We'll go ahead and reset and then whack with the Magnar again. Try to take some of them down. Not quite. Magnar is definitely not built the best. I don't even think he's crit capped. So, I mean, obviously, if you could build somebody with more damage and whatnot, that would help a lot. We do obviously block the heals, or not the heals, but like the increased resistance that would have come in there from the Oella, which is nice. We'll go ahead and steal her turn meter as well. We're already past the 40 manipulations, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and try to drop her, which we don't get. Go ahead and steal her turn meter. We get the decreased speed and whatnot coming in from the Lady Kimmy, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Go ahead and whack here. Decrease accuracy on us as well. Going to make it tough to land any debuffs. Let's go ahead, reset the Magnar once again. Come in with our nuke. See if we can whack some people down. We do get one of them down at least, so we're making progress. We get some stuns there. Some more turn meter reductions. Try for an A1 here. We do land the stun, which is perfect. Try to whack in here. We do take her out. Perfect. We'll just get another A1 here. If I could click them, apparently that was the struggle. Steal a turn meter from Lady Kimmy. Don't want her doing any craziness. Getting a stun on the Oella would be pretty crazy as well. We'll go ahead and just keep whacking them down here. Now, obviously, you could be running Carnage in this if you want, just to make it a lot faster on yourself, right? Save your sanity and whatnot. But, I mean, if I run Carnage in here, I think it's going to kind of just show people a very inaccessible team if you don't have him. Because, obviously, if you have Carnage, just run him. He's a value over replacement for basically anybody in this team. Especially a Magnar, right? So, just something to consider. We'll go ahead and just keep whacking people here. Boom, boom, boom. Oella, if you could sit down, that would be perfect. This is the last stage, and I want to move on, damn it. We'll get the AoE here. You know the deal. I'm actually very happy, though, that we were able to clear the bomb stage with our Soul Drinker. I didn't know if we were going to be able to do it or not, but that is huge, because I was worried about that. So we'll get the double whack from the Magnar there. Reset and boost the Magnar. We get the heal from the Oella, which is super annoying, as well as the turn meter boost coming in from Duden there, I think is his name. Let's go for a stun here. Be sick if we land it, which we do. Get some more stuns out there. Nuke with the Magnar again. Don't take anybody out. Magnar is actually built out in Savage as well. Crazy, I know. Turn meter boost coming in from the Oella there is perfectly fine. Let's go for a stun here if we can land it again. There we go. Look at that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You can actually build like Infernal Baroness for damage as well. She doesn't do too shabby a damage considering that she has like the AoE A1 there. It definitely makes her a bit more competent for that role. We'll go ahead and get the Clam Slam again with the Magnar. Take some people out. There we go. We just have a couple of them remaining. Always the Kimmy and the Oella, unfortunately. And we do need to try to make sure to save some of our cooldowns because we do have an Elva on wave 3 and I don't want her getting off her cleanses and all that garbage. So just something to consider as well. Make sure your cooldowns are good to go. Go ahead and whack in here to the Kimmy. Stun on Elva. That's perfect. And we take her down. We're now on to the final wave. Let's go ahead and get our CC up. Let's go ahead and steal turn meter off Elva. Go ahead and do this. No stuns. Perfect. No stuns. Perfect. Get a decreased defense there, which is nice. We'll go ahead and boost the Magnar, reset, AoE decreased attack. We get some True Fears proccing there, which is perfect. I really need the True Fear to proc on that Elva, though. Otherwise, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Stun there would be nice as well, but it doesn't happen. We do get the True Fear, though. That's perfect. Turn meter steal on the Ruella. AoE. We have the Smack available, so we'll take out that Ruella. Go here. We do get the stun on Duden. Everybody's nice and full on HP as well. Their Tormin is not proccing his freeze. I don't know if he's just not like ascended or whatnot, or what's going on with that, but I've not been frozen by the Tormin on these waves, which is nice. Get the double smack there. Need to try and make sure that Elva doesn't get a turn, so if we can get some freezes here, that'd be perfect, but turn meter steal is big. And let's go for a stun. Nothing, but the True Fear does proc again, which is perfect. We got the A3 available. Let's go ahead and take out the Elva, and then we'll go ahead and throw it on auto. Now, what is kind of cool here as well is the Infernal Baroness brings a Veil. So if you're using somebody who's not quite as tanky, like a Skimfos or something like that, she can actually place them under Veil and just make sure that they can't be targeted, which is pretty cool. So then, you know, your less squishy options are going to be the champions that are targeted. So you can kind of decide who gets hit, right? Because it goes off of kind of like lowest HP. So you can then put the Veil on your lowest HP member, and then it'll go to the next lowest HP, which you also get to choose. But if you're bringing in, say, like a, I don't know, like a Candrafon, or somebody who's just not really tanky that is dealing your damage, like obviously Magnar is a bad example because he's not he's an HP-based damage dealer. He's tanky, right? So there we go. We got the 3 stars. I think you get what I mean with that. So now we have the energy here as well. I'm going to go ahead and claim that because I do want to use that to farm the Minotaur so that I can try to get my Carnage's masteries finished up. So that being said, let's go ahead and claim the goodies. I'm also going to go ahead and show you guys the recently used here so you can see the builds on the champions. I'll go ahead and move myself so you can actually see the stats. As always, just going to kind of click through this very quickly. If there's somebody's build that you're looking for in particular, you know, always feel free to join the Discord and hop in there and, you know, see what's going on essentially and see what the build is. But this is how everybody was built, so nothing too crazy. That being said, though, I hope this content was helpful and entertaining and maybe all of the above. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you next time.